Let's go over the Lab 6. Lab 6 shell code is given, looks like this one, but we have to submit on the Google Classroom, so we are going to change the file name first. First, I need to change driver, circle, and actually I have to make more classes for Lab06. Lab06 requires 3 more shapes. So if we go to our U4 API, how to get there, I'm going to say academics.tjhssc.edu/consci. Then you can see all the contact classes at TJ. So one of them is foundations. And you're going to go U4 API. Then you're going to see lots of class APIs are given. Circle, rectangle, shape, square, triangle are for Lab 6 and Lab 7. So circle is almost given, so we are going to make rectangle, square, triangle in your Lab 6 folder. If I go back to my JGRASP, then circle. I'm going to open the circle first. One thing, because I have to change my circle to submission version, so Dropbox version. So I'm going to change the circle name as period information, last name, and first name. Let's see here. There's a comment and it has more information required at author. So you may write your name. Then for the version, you may write today's date. Something like that. Or you can make your own version. You can make your own name. It does not matter really. Then when you change the name, you always need to change it, the constructor's name too, because class name, file name, constructor name must match. I just said the file name too. So I need to save as a new name. So I'm going to store the new name circle. Whenever you change the name, I recommend to delete the original one. So if you do right click, you can delete it. Now let's finish the circle. The constructor, it says your code goes here, so I need to fill out the constructor. My constructor's job is initialize field. I have one field, my radius, so I'm going to say my radius will get the new value that it is input value x, the parameter value. So there is a parameter information x, initial radius. Then for the get radius, this is accessor, so I'm going to return my radius. Then set radius is a modifier, so I'm going to make my radius have the new value. So the new value should be the argument value. Then find area. Circle's area is pi r squared, so I'm going to say math.pi times my radius square, or my radius times my radius means square. Then find the circumference. I'm going to return math.pi 2 times 2 pi r, so math.pi times my radius. Wow, I'm done circle. Then why this one has this special comments? Because this one is API style comments. That means I can make documentation, generate document. So you can click generate documentation button next to the compile button. Then if you click there, JGRASP automatically create a web page, HTML style, HTML file, which looks like the web page, but it's actually a local file. You are going to save it. If you use Chrome, you are going to click right click and save it. If you have Windows Explorer, you are going to find the menu on the left top, then click file and save it. I'm going to save this one inside of my folder with other files. So I'm going to save it in my Lab06 folder. Then I'm going to close it. Oh, is it gone? Actually not. If I open my Lab06 folder, you can see a circle HTML file is there, now created. If I click this file at any time, I can see my API. So this one has my own circle name, so you're going to see this is my circle. Then You are going to make other classes. When you make other classes, you are going to refer what you're supposed to have. So rectangle class API, if you look at here, rectangle is subclass of shape, so extends shape. Then it has two fields, my base, my height, and they are private double type. Then rectangle constructor has two arguments, and also it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 methods. That's it. So I'm going to go back to the JGrasp to create rectangle class. Only one difference from the API is my class name. Public class, instead of rectangle, I need to say P0, period information, last name, and first name, then rectangle. Extends. Actually, shape is given in the Google Classroom, so you don't have to make shape as your own name. Then this one has two private fields. Private double my base and private double my height. That's from the API. Then it has constructor. So I can make public nothing, then just the class name that is the constructor name. Then you have a two argument because rectangle API had a two argument constructor, which was passing double x and double y. Constructor's job is initialize field. So I'm going to initialize fields. So my base will have a first value x, my height will have a second value y. One more thing is required. There are now methods goes here, method definitions go here, but find the area must be there to compile because I want to compile this one. The other method you are going to define later in your code. Public double find the area must be defined to compile because shape abstract class has find area method. So public double find area with no argument must be declared inside of the rectangle class. Then if I just finish this find the area only, I can say return my base times my height. So if I have this minimum information, I can compile. As recommended name, my own rectangle. Then, actually this is not done. Like circle, I have to make rectangle API that is required for our Lab 6 lab. So we are going to refer the circle class, the API style, comment. So I'm going to copy it. This part was right before the public class. So I'm going to go back and right before the public class, I'm going to paste it, then change it. Actually, this is not a rectangle, this is a circle. So instead of saying circle, I'm going to say this is a rectangle. Then our other version, I don't need to change it. Then let's go back to the circle. Oh, I need to have some more API style. The second one is right before the constructor. So I'm going to put right before the constructor, the second comment. Then I can see construct a circle, no, a rectangle with initial, base, and height specified by x and y. Parameters are now x and y, then initial, base, and height. So you can change like this way. After you are done all those API style comments, you are gonna do same thing again. Like click generate documentation. Then we're going to save as your rectangle HTML, save it. Then you are going to submit this rectangle HTML file into Google Classroom. That's one required part. Then, if I go back to JGrasp, actually, my driver must be also changed. So I'm going to change my driver name as a period, last name, first name, then driver 06. Is that all in the driver? Actually not, because I have lots of objects. So here you can also change the circle name. Then I just made a rectangle, even though it's not full version. I can still name it as rectangle, correct name. Then you are going to make square. So triangle, you can just refer the API and make the class. Then square is a little bit special, so I'm going to make it square. Now I can save as this one first before I go back to the square, because I need to delete driver 06. So save as this driver 06 as a new name. Then I'm going to delete the original driver 6. Now let's go back to the API. If you go back to the API, you get the square is special. Square is a subclass of a rectangle. Then it has a constructor. You can see there's no field. It has only two methods. That's it. Everything is inherited. That means you don't have to make. It has only getSide, setSide, no field. Let's go back. So I'm going to make the new Java file. One thing, public class square. Actually, I need to have recommended name square. Extend recommended name rectangle. Then the API said I need just a constructor, getSide, and setSide. That's it. So we are going to make the constructor public and class name constructor. It has only one argument, the double X. Then inside the one we're going to think about later. Then I'm going to make public double getSide. Then public void setSide by passing the new value. It doesn't have anything else, so that's it. The inside of the constructor, subclass the constructor will call super first, but my superclass has two argument, rectangle has a two argument constructor, so I'm going to pass X twice. That's it. Now, in the rectangles class, my base and my height get the value. Now in the getSide method, my base and my height has the same value, so I can just return one of them. So I can return, you can say super dot or, because you already inherited the method, get base or get height. That's it. How about setSide? For the changing the side, you must change base and height both. So you're supposed to call set base and also set height, but you are gonna pass the same value. So you must change both sides. That's it. This is your square. So you're supposed to have only this part in your square class. Of course, this one will not compile because I didn't make the get base and set base, set height in the rectangle yet. But after you are done this, you can open your driver's square with the recommended name. So if I just change the name first here, and triangle also, then if you write some more code to test your square class and triangle class, you are done. Then you are going to submit all those files into Google Classroom.